Imagine waking up in the middle of the night because of a sound that just won't stop. Not barking, not whining, just the constant sound of your dog scratching. Scratch after scratch after scratch. You switch on the light, and there they are, chewing at their paws, rubbing their face across the carpet, twisting their body to reach another itchy spot. They look miserable, and the worst part is they look at you as if they're asking for help. If you've ever experienced that, then stay with me, because what I'm about to share today could completely change the way you care for your dog's skin. Most people believe itching starts on the outside. They think it's just fleas, or maybe pollen, or perhaps it's simply bad luck. But after years of working with dogs and talking to worried pet owners, I've learned something surprising. The itch you see on the skin is often just the final chapter of a story that began much deeper inside the body. What makes this even more frustrating is that many owners spend hundreds of dollars trying one product after another. A new shampoo this week, a different flea treatment next month, allergy tablets, steroid injections, expensive sprays with labels full of ingredients nobody can pronounce. Sometimes they seem to help for a little while. Then, almost overnight, the scratching returns as though nothing ever changed. That cycle is exhausting for both you and your dog. I'm James Carter, and today I want to show you a different approach. This isn't about throwing away everything your veterinarian recommends, and it's certainly not about replacing proper medical care when your dog needs it. Instead, it's about supporting your dog's body naturally using simple ingredients that many families already have at home, while understanding why the itching started in the first place. By the end of this video, you'll know how to calm irritated skin, how to create an environment that fleas and ticks don't enjoy, and why your dog's digestive system might secretly be controlling what's happening on the outside. But before we get there, I want to tell you about Bella. Bella was an energetic golden retriever who loved absolutely everything about life. She loved muddy puddles, chasing tennis balls, rolling through fresh grass, and greeting every stranger like they were her best friend. Then something changed. Her owner noticed she started licking one paw every evening. At first it seemed harmless. Dogs lick themselves all the time. A week later it wasn't one paw anymore. It was both front paws. Soon she was scratching her neck every few minutes. Then she stopped sleeping through the night. Her owner was desperate. New shampoo, different food, flea medication, another vet visit, temporary improvement. Then everything came rushing back. Sound familiar? Here's what finally made the difference. Instead of asking only, how do we stop the scratching? We asked a completely different question. What is making Bella's skin so unhappy in the first place? That one question changed everything. You see, your dog's skin isn't just a covering over their body, it's actually one of their largest organs. Every single day, it's protecting them from bacteria, parasites, allergens, heat, cold, and countless tiny irritants they encounter just by walking outside. When the skin is healthy, it's incredibly good at its job. When it's inflamed, even something as harmless as lying in fresh grass can feel unbearable. That's why the very first goal isn't to cure everything overnight. It's to break the itch cycle. Once a dog starts scratching, they damage the skin. Damaged skin becomes inflamed. Inflamed skin becomes even itchier. Then they scratch even harder. It's a vicious circle that feeds itself. The sooner you interrupt that cycle, the better chance the skin has to repair itself naturally. One of my favorite first steps is something remarkably simple. Organic, unrefined coconut oil. Not the highly processed version filled with additives, pure coconut oil. There's a reason so many natural pet care advocates recommend it. It's naturally rich in healthy fats and contains compounds that help support the skin's protective barrier. When gently applied to dry, irritated areas that aren't open or severely infected, it can help soothe discomfort while adding moisture back into damaged skin.
Think about what happens when your own hands become dry during winter. They crack. They sting. Even touching water feels uncomfortable. Your dog's skin isn't any different. Sometimes what it needs first isn't another harsh chemical. It needs comfort. If your dog has small irritated patches that aren't bleeding, warming a tiny amount of coconut oil between your fingers before gently massaging it into the area can provide temporary relief while also helping protect the skin from becoming even drier. Many owners notice their dogs immediately relax during the process. Some even stop scratching long enough to finally rest. And after watching an uncomfortable dog settle down for the first time in days, you realize just how miserable they must have been. Now here's something else that surprises a lot of people. Have you ever picked up your dog's paw and noticed an unusual smell? Some people describe it as popcorn, others say it smells like corn chips, some compare it to stale bread. Whatever description you use, it's one of those smells you never forget. That odor isn't something you should ignore. It can sometimes be a sign that yeast has found the perfect place to grow. Yeast loves warmth. It loves moisture. And the spaces between your dog's paw pads provide exactly that environment. The constant licking only makes the area wetter, allowing the cycle to continue. One gentle home approach that many owners use on healthy, unbroken skin is a diluted apple cider vinegar rinse. Mixing equal parts apple cider vinegar and clean water creates a solution that can be lightly applied with a soft cloth or cotton pad to the outside of the paws after they've been cleaned. The important word here is diluted. Never use full-strength vinegar. And never apply it to cracked, bleeding, or open skin, because it can cause significant discomfort. If your dog has open wounds, severe swelling, pus, or signs of infection, that's no longer something to experiment with at home. That's the moment to contact your veterinarian. Knowing the difference between mild irritation and a medical emergency is one of the greatest gifts you can give your dog. Because sometimes the smartest natural remedy is recognizing when professional treatment is needed. But we're only getting started. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most dog owners because you're beginning to understand something that took me years to appreciate. Healthy skin isn't created by a single shampoo or one miracle supplement. It's built through small, consistent habits that work together, and now it's time to focus on the next step. Let's talk about what to do when the itching isn't limited to one spot. Maybe your dog isn't just chewing one paw anymore. Maybe they're rubbing their belly across the carpet, scratching behind their ears every few minutes, or rolling from side to side in the grass because they simply can't get comfortable. When that happens, the entire skin surface becomes irritated. Every scratch creates tiny breaks in the skin. Those tiny breaks allow even more irritation to sneak in, which makes the itching worse. Before long, your dog is trapped in a cycle they can't escape. One of the gentlest ways to calm widespread irritation is something that's probably sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now. Plain oatmeal, not the flavored packets loaded with sugar, not the instant varieties filled with artificial ingredients, just plain rolled oats. Most people think oatmeal is only for breakfast, but it's been used for generations to soothe irritated skin because it forms a gentle protective layer over the surface. That protective layer helps the skin hold on to moisture while temporarily calming irritation. Here's the mistake I see people make all the time. They prepare a nice oatmeal bath, then fill the tub with warm water because they assume warm water is comforting. For an itchy dog, it often does the opposite. Hot or very warm water can increase blood flow to already inflamed skin, making your dog even more uncomfortable after the bath than before. Instead, use cool to lukewarm water. Grind the oats into a fine powder using a blender or food processor until they almost look like flour. Mix that powder into the bath water and stir it well. The water should take on a soft, cloudy appearance. Then let your dog simply soak. There's no need to scrub. There's no need to vigorously massage the skin. Sometimes less is more. Allow the oatmeal to gently coat the skin while your dog relaxes in the water for several minutes. When bath time is over, resist the urge to rub them dry with the towel. Pat them gently. Rubbing irritated skin is a little like rubbing a sunburn. It creates friction exactly where the skin is trying to heal. Now, while we're talking about simple home care, there's another issue that deserves attention because it often gets overlooked. Stress. Yes, dogs experience stress just like we do. Think about what happens when you're anxious. Maybe you bite your nails. Maybe you tap your foot. Maybe you constantly check your phone without realizing it. Dogs develop habits too. Some lick because they're itchy. Others continue licking because it has become their way of coping with boredom, loneliness, or anxiety. I've met dogs whose skin had already healed, Yet they kept licking the same spot because their brain had turned it into a routine. That's why sometimes we have to redirect the behavior instead of only treating the skin. One simple way to do that is by giving your dog an appropriate chew that keeps both their mouth and mind busy. A chilled or frozen carrot works surprisingly well for many dogs. It lasts longer than a regular treat, provides satisfying chewing, and can help redirect their attention away from constant licking. The goal isn't to replace proper nutrition. The goal is to interrupt the habit. Every minute your dog spends calmly chewing instead of scratching gives their skin another chance to recover. Now let's shift gears because this next point changed the way I think about fleas and ticks forever. Most people believe fleas choose a dog randomly. That's not entirely true. Parasites are constantly searching for the easiest target. A healthy skin barrier, a clean coat, and a balanced body create a much less inviting environment than skin that's already inflamed and damaged. That's why true prevention doesn't begin with killing fleas. It begins with making your dog a less attractive place for them to settle. One natural ingredient many holistic pet owners like to include in small, veterinarian-approved amounts is brewer's yeast. Brewer's yeast is naturally rich in B vitamins, nutrients that support healthy skin and coat development. Over time, many owners report that their dogs seem less appealing to biting insects, although results can vary from one dog to another. It's important to remember that natural remedies aren't magic overnight fixes. They're part of a long-term strategy. Consistency matters far more than quantity. Adding huge amounts won't make it work faster. In fact, introducing too many new foods at once can upset your dog's stomach. Small changes, steady habits, that's what produces lasting results. Another kitchen ingredient that often comes up in conversations about natural support is turmeric. Turmeric has been studied for its natural anti-inflammatory properties, and when used appropriately in dog-safe amounts under veterinary guidance, it may help support overall wellness. The key phrase is dog-safe amounts. More is not better. Too much of almost anything, even something natural, can create problems. Nature gives us wonderful tools, but those tools still need to be used wisely. Now here's a question I get all the time. If I'm using natural approaches, does that mean I should stop using veterinarian-recommended flea prevention? The answer depends entirely on your dog's health, where you live, and how high the parasite risk is in your area. Natural support and veterinary medicine don't have to compete with each other. In many situations, they can work together. The goal isn't proving one approach is better than another. The goal is giving your dog the healthiest, happiest life possible. And there's one hidden factor we haven't talked about yet, one that's quietly influencing your dog's immune system every single day. It isn't their shampoo, it isn't the weather, it isn't even the fleas. It's what's happening inside their digestive system. I'm going to explain why the gut may be the real starting point for chronic itching, the foods that can either help or hurt your dog's skin, and the simple additions that can support a healthier coat from the inside out. Once you understand that connection, you'll realize that every meal is an opportunity to help your dog feel better long before the scratching ever begins. For years, people believed the answer to itchy skin was always found in another bottle, another spray, or another medication. But after helping countless dog owners work through recurring skin problems, I've come to appreciate something remarkable. The skin often tells us what's happening inside the body long before anything else does. Think of your dog's digestive system as the foundation of a house. If the foundation starts to weaken, cracks eventually begin appearing in the walls. You can keep painting over those cracks, but unless you strengthen what's underneath, they'll continue coming back. The same idea applies to chronic itching. Many commercial dog foods are perfectly balanced for nutrition, but some dogs simply don't tolerate certain ingredients well. Others may have true food allergies or sensitivities that trigger inflammation. That's why dogs with persistent itching should be evaluated by a veterinarian, especially if the problem keeps returning or affects them year-round. Sometimes the answer isn't changing shampoos. Sometimes it's taking a closer look at the food bowl. A healthy digestive system is home to billions of beneficial bacteria that help with digestion, support the immune system, and contribute to overall health. When those bacteria become unbalanced, some dogs may experience digestive upset, changes in stool quality, and in certain cases, skin problems can become more difficult to manage. That's one reason many veterinarians recommend adding probiotics for dogs when appropriate. These beneficial bacteria help support a healthier intestinal environment, and a healthier gut often supports a healthier immune response. For some dogs, Plain, unsweetened yogurt with live cultures can be used in small amounts if they tolerate dairy well. Others do better with a probiotic that's specifically formulated for dogs. Every dog is different, which is why it's always worth discussing the best option with your veterinarian. And here's something I never want anyone watching this video to forget. Whenever you're choosing yogurt or any human food for your dog, read the ingredient label carefully. If you see xylitol, sometimes listed as birch sugar, put it back on the shelf immediately. Xylitol is extremely dangerous for dogs and can cause a life-threatening emergency, even in very small amounts. That one habit, checking the label before sharing any food, could save your dog's life. Now let's talk about something your dog's skin desperately needs if it's going to repair itself. Healthy fats. Your dog's skin is constantly renewing itself. Old skin cells are replaced with new ones, and a healthy coat depends on having the right building blocks available every day. One of my favorite whole food sources of omega-3 fatty acids is sardines packed in water with no added salt. Just one small sardine mixed into your dog's meal once or twice a week can provide valuable omega-3s that support healthy skin and a shiny coat. If your dog doesn't enjoy fish, there are other options. Some dogs love cooked eggs. Others benefit from veterinarian-recommended fish oil supplements designed specifically for dogs. The goal isn't finding one magical ingredient. The goal is giving the body the nutrients it needs to repair itself naturally over time. Another wonderful addition is homemade bone broth. When prepared safely without onions, garlic, or excessive seasoning, bone broth can add moisture, encourage picky eaters to finish their meals, and provide naturally occurring collagen and other nutrients that support joints and connective tissues. It's also a great way to make dry food more appealing. Just remember, if you're making it at home, keep it simple. Plain bones, water, nothing else. Many store-bought broths contain ingredients that aren't suitable for dogs. Now, before you rush into your kitchen and start adding everything we've discussed today into tonight's dinner, let me save you from making one of the biggest mistakes enthusiastic dog owners often make. More isn't better. Your dog's digestive system needs time to adjust. If you suddenly introduce yogurt, sardines, pumpkin, bone broth, brewer's yeast, turmeric, and several other new ingredients all at once, there's a good chance you'll end up with an upset stomach instead of a healthier dog. Slow and steady always wins. Choose one new addition. Give it time. Watch how your dog responds. Then, if everything is going well, you can gradually introduce another. Think of it like building a strong brick wall. You don't throw all the bricks into a pile and hope they somehow become a house. You place one brick at a time, day after day, week after week. Eventually, you've built something incredibly strong. Your dog's health works the same way. Small habits practiced consistently are almost always more powerful than dramatic changes that only last a few days. If I were putting together a simple daily routine, it would look something like this. Start with a complete, balanced diet that's appropriate for your dog's age, size, and health needs. Support healthy skin with omega-3 rich foods, or supplements when recommended. Consider adding probiotics if they're appropriate for your dog. Keep the skin clean without overbathing. Check the paws and ears regularly for early signs of irritation. Brush the coat often so you notice changes before they become serious. And don't ignore small changes. The sooner you catch a problem, the easier it usually is to manage. I also want to leave you with one final thought. Your dog doesn't care whether dinner comes from an expensive silver bowl or a simple ceramic one. They don't care whether their bed is the most expensive on the market. What they remember is how safe they feel when you're beside them. They remember the walks, the belly rubs, the games of fetch, the quiet moments when you sit together after a long day. Every healthy choice you make, from checking their skin after a walk to preparing a nutritious meal, is another way of telling them, I love you. And if you've been feeling discouraged because nothing seems to be working, don't give up. Sometimes finding the right combination of nutrition, skincare, parasite prevention, and veterinary guidance takes patience. But your dog is worth that patience. If today's video helped you understand your dog's itching in a completely different way, I'd really appreciate it if you'd give this video a like. It helps more dog lovers discover practical, science-based information that can make a real difference. Make sure you subscribe because we have many more videos coming on nutrition, senior dog care, behavior, preventive health, and simple ways to help your best friend live a longer, happier life. Now I'd love to hear from you. What has your dog been struggling with the most lately? Is it itchy skin, constant paw licking, seasonal allergies, fleas, or something completely different? Leave your answer in the comments below. I read as many of your comments as I can, and hearing your experiences helps shape future videos that answer the questions you care about most. Thank you for spending this time with me. Give your dog an extra hug from me today. Cherish every moment you have together. Take good care of them, and I'll see you again very soon in the next video.